Flathead law enforcement agencies are looking for better mental health resources after several recent high-stress incidents. KPAX's Marin Sue tells us how you can help.
From my recollection, being here, 18 years, I've never seen it. Everything, this is again something that we've never seen before. Where we have had officer-involved shootings, but they were 10 years apart, a lot of times, or 15 years apart.
Flathead County Sheriff Brian Hanos says they had 2 officer-involved shootings and 2 drownings in a span of a couple of months, and it's taking a toll on his team.
You can really see the stress amongst our folks now. It is more, trying to work with each other. That's part of the bond, I guess, in law enforcement as well, is, we are able to vent to each other about what we see every day.
Sheriff Haino tells me he's not exactly sure what's causing the uptick in calls, but says it might be due to the uncertain times we're living in due to the coronavirus.
Kalispell Police Chief Doug Overman says the stigma around mental health in law enforcement is improving.
Early on in my career, I think there's still some of that bravado where we just didn't do that. As we understand the science more, as we understand each other more, as we understand the human component, that we understand that more and we're more willing to talk about it.
But sometimes he says it's difficult separating your personal life and the horrors you see on the job. As a father of 3, Sheriff Haino references the triple murder-suicide in Olney his officers responded to in June. A 3-year-old girl was a victim in the crime.
As a parent, when you're dealing with those environments, just to deal with small children specifically when, they're dead or severely injured or those things. You could see it in a lot of the faces of everyone that worked out there. There was a dramatic effect on all those involved with it.
While law enforcement have access to mental health resources, both Haino and Overman say they're limited. It's challenging finding the right expert to relate to.
How do you talk to someone about some of the tragedies that we see on a daily basis, in the field? How can anybody empathize with, maybe a young person that committed suicide and you have to respond to that?
Overman says law enforcement is one of the highest professions with death by suicide. According to bluehelp.org, almost 100 officers lost their lives to suicide in 2020.
Chief Overman is asking anybody with a professional counseling background and experience with law enforcement to please contact them so they can start building their mental health resources. In Kalispell, Marin Sue, MTN News.
So if you're interested, you can contact Chief Oberman by calling the Kalispell Police Department, the number 406-758-7780.